Hello and welcome to our product video about Unified Contacts Pro Edition by Pickhan GAB. My name is Thorsten Pickhan and I'm working as a Microsoft UC consultant. And with me in the studio is my dear colleague
Jan Petersen, also UC consulting at Pickhan GAB. And I work also, like you, in the Microsoft environment, so pretty near.
Perfect. And today the video is especially in detail about the Microsoft Teams app we certified, Unified Contacts Pro Edition, Jan.
Absolutely.
And why we need, in general, the Unified Contacts app, what it is.
So why do we need it? Because the search functionality, especially for contact search within Microsoft Teams, is not 100% what the users expect. So especially if you go into the calling app, you have a different result than in a normal search bar. So, and therefore, we got feedback in multiple voice-related projects with Microsoft Teams that the search capabilities must be better. So we decided, okay, if there's nothing on the market, let's write it. So we wrote it.
Yeah. So the Unified Contacts app you can use as a central unified app to search in different contact data sources. It's very good for the end user because Unified Contacts has the option to select between multiple phone numbers for a single contact. And another benefit is that when you change something or update a contact, it's immediately searchable and you find this change on the search result.
Yeah, so we do talk about Unified Contacts Pro Edition, you said already. So we do have the free edition. Maybe you found it already in the Microsoft Teams App Store or you watch our other videos. So what's the benefit of of the Microsoft Teams app, Unified Contacts Pro? Of course, we added some more features within this product. So, for example, we provide different views you can choose from. We do have third-party apps or data sources we can integrate in the search. And finally, but last but not least, favorites. You can mark special or important contacts into a favorite list. This is not all, but
no, there's one big point. The architecture is it's a completely another one. The app is still the same, but in case of the Unified Contacts Pro app, you will get an own Unified Contacts Pro app, so it runs in your Azure subscription, and this is one of the main differences to the Unified Contacts free app, which is running in our Azure subscription as software as a service. Thanks, Jan. In the Unified Contacts Pro app, this thus is running in your tenant, and that's of course because we support here to search in third-party contact sources, and therefore one requirement was that the version is running in your tenant and not in our tenant.
Yeah, but also another advantage, you get support. So if you run into trouble, whatever kind of, so we will support you with any cases you might have, and so it's
Nice one. So let's take a look on the basic architecture. If you already seen some of our other videos on YouTube, you will find out that the basic architecture is not so different. Here's one extra point, SharePoint Online. So using Unified Contacts Pro Edition, you can search also in contact lists hosted in SharePoint Online. And of course, we are using the Graph API for Exchange, for Azure Active Directory, but also for SharePoint Online search. And the UC thus platform is installed in your Azure tenant in your Azure subscription.
Yeah. So, but just a question: if I do have a SQL database with contacts or whatever in place, and I want to connect this one to UnifiedContacts Pro, is it possible?
It depends, I would say. So we are using SharePoint Online in this case as some kind of bridge technology. So in first instance, you will export the data from your SQL server and import them into SharePoint Online contact list. Then it's searchable by Unified Contact. But I can say that it is already on our roadmap to connect other databases like CRM, like SQL, and some others to connect directly to the Unified Contact platform, to the SaaS platform, and to make it searchable directly.
Perfect. So as a summary, we could say really the simplified backend, you can run Unified Contacts Pro in your environment, so everything is in your hand, no data is going across, so therefore it's safe.
It's very safe. Then the same, like we already explained for Unified Contacts 3, no super user is required, so no managed identity, no stored credential. You access the data in context of the current user logged in into Microsoft Teams, and therefore we do not have the requirement for super user at that point.
Yeah. And the powerful APIs, they stay the same. If you go with free or with Pro, we have the same power, and yeah, it's same secure even.
Yeah. And last but not least, cloud only. So in our solution, there's no on-premises resources you need to install. It's all in Azure hosted and therefore cloud only.
Yeah, good. So specs.
Specs, yeah, very important. Here's the same story. If you already seen one of the other videos, more or less the same specifications. We are supporting Windows, Apple, and iOS, Android as a platform. Of course, we are searching in Azure Active Directory and your personal Outlook address book. And this is the difference to the free edition in SharePoint Online. Then the Unified Contacts runs in your Azure environment. And the data flow is the same directly between your client and the Azure service via HTTPS.
Yeah. So a big difference to the free edition is the M365 licensing. So the Teams phone add-on stays the same. So if you want to initiate a phone call out of Unified Contacts, you need the phone system license be applied on your user account. But also, as the service is running in your Azure tenant, you need an Azure subscription, which will be used for consumption and also for licensing billing.
Yeah.
So scalability stays the same. If you're a small or large company, doesn't matter. So we do have the power to support more than 100,000 users. And as we said already, we provide service by our service center. If you run into a problem with this platform, with this service, and you need support, you will get it from us. In addition, of course, you will have access also to the public knowledge base about any issues or known things, or even maybe a roadmap. Not sure what will be in there in future. So, but that's really the pro, and I think it's time for some demo, isn't it?
Really?
I think so.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, we will show you how to install, how the installation process is. It's not so easy like in the free edition, because already explained, you need your own Azure resources, and therefore we have a script, a deployment script. Also, the Pro edition is licensing, so we need some kind of license key in that one. And last but not least, we will show you the difference. So how does the app looks like, how it works, and what are the key benefits in comparison to the free edition of Unified Contacts. So first of all, we need a license for it to install. And yeah, therefore you can go into the Azure Marketplace search for Unified Contacts, and hopefully you will find our offering Unified Contacts Pro.
True. And then click on it. Like usual in the Azure Marketplace. You just click it and get it.
Here you have the option to select between a yearly fee or a monthly fee, a yearly subscription or a monthly subscription. We decide to go with a yearly subscription and click on subscribe. Next, we need to select the subscription where the deployment will be done. Then we need a resource group. One option is that you already created a resource group for that one, or you can also select to create one. As you have seen, we already created a resource group for Unified Contacts, and we select that one. Then we need a name for the SaaS service itself, Unified Contacts. And here at the bottom, we can select if you would like to have a recurring billing or not. Then we can review and subscribe, so all data will be validated. Then we have to put in a primary phone number. If from our side there are some questions, we can contact you. Please enter a valid phone number here. And then we click on subscribe. So now our team will get an email.
Right. Email is not good enough. They will get a ticket to work on this request, and they will provide you information and the license key for your implementation.
Perfect. In this email, I included the further steps, how to deploy the script. As you can see here, we need to configure an account now. And yeah, here the same story. We need some permissions from you. These are granted by clicking on accept. And then in first instance, we should already be fine. And you will get further instructions via mail. Here important one.
Yep. How many users you want to license?
It must be at least 100 users. Of course, you can type in another number, how many users you want or need. Here in this example, we are staying with 100 users, and we need also a technical contact where all the informations are sent to. Next, we submit that one, and in that case, a ticket is created in our system, and our colleagues will get in touch with you. So when you submitted the data, you will receive an email with further instructions how to deploy the app itself, and also this mail will include the license key. When you click on the link for the solution deployment, you will get to the portal Azure, to the template, to this custom deployment, and here we all is prepared with the assistant. So we need to select the subscription, of course, the resource group. You will paste the license key, and you need to define the administrator login and an administrator login password.
So this is for the SQL instance, isn't it?
Yeah. Next, we need to paste the SharePoint URL, so we are able to search for SharePoint contacts. This URL you can get from the SharePoint site. It is just the URL without HTTPS, just the host name with the SharePoint.com domain. and we will paste it here. And next we click on review and create. If everything is valid, you get a summary of the defined information and click on create. Now the deployment process in Azure starts, and all resources will be deployed based on our template.
So you can just grab a cup of coffee and wait this 2 to 3 minutes until everything is finished. Or, yeah, maybe you get a cake or what else you can do. Check emails. After a couple of minutes, so 1 cup of coffee later, the deployment is more or less finished. And yeah, the last thing is the database. And finally, if you have 6 green checkboxes, you're fine.
So now you switch to the Unified Contacts app services. And then you click on browse to get more information. Here you can see already the initial admin page of Unified Contacts Pro with further instructions. So we need to install the Unified Contacts PowerShell module, and then we will install the Unified Contacts app in your Azure App Service. To do this, I start the notepad. Copy the information in the clipboard. And then we need to replace this string by the URL of the app service. The URL should include the HTTPS, but also the app service at the end. And it should end with a quotation mark.
Quotation mark.
So to install the PowerShell module, we switch to the Cloud Shell.
You can also use your client PowerShell, but please make sure that you do have the latest Azure AZ modules installed, so otherwise it might cause some issues. So if you stay on the Cloud PowerShell, you definitely have the latest modules installed.
Then we need the SQL admin credential. And then we can deploy the Unified Contacts app. Of course, we need to grant another or authenticate the process. Therefore, you have the login Microsoft.com device login and a special code. So you open a website, a new tab, aka.ms/device login, and paste in the code. Authenticate as a global administrator, and then the process is done. You can switch back to the Azure portal, and here you will see that there is some progress and the app is installed or will be installed in your environment. When this process is done, we need to grant access for this app to your tenant. So the the Unified Contact app has access via Graph API to the information of your tenant. And here we go, the installation process is completed. And now we need to grant required permissions to the app. And therefore we have two links provided here in the PowerShell. I will take the first one. Open it. Same story, we need a global administrator. We have an overview of the granted permissions. Go on accept. And then we already have the UnifiedContacts Pro admin page. You also get the notification that no Unified Contacts app is detected in your Teams admin center, but it's not a problem at that point because we have to grant a second time permissions. So we close that one, go back to the Azure portal, copy the second link, paste it again, open it. Again, we need to authenticate, another bunch of requirements, accept. And then we are good to go.
Nearly.
Nearly, yeah.
Nearly. So on the left-hand pane, you can close this manifest information. So we need to wait until the Teams app registration has been done. This again might take a minute or two. So we stay here, just refresh the page to see if it's going further. So we'll just take a minute until this is finished. Now we're here, but still we haven't published the manifest yet. So we go there and do what we have to do. So in this manifest settings, you can modify the display name of the app. So as it then show in your Teams app, for example. So if you want to have it just contacts or company contacts or whatever you're fancy of, you can change the display name in here. Short description, long description stays as it is right now. So, and the app registration client ID is also fixed. But even if you want to have it on a different API domain, you can modify it, but please leave it as it is and save it, and then you can upload it. Switching to the Teams admin center, and then if you go into manage apps, you should be able to find contacts, as this was renamed. And there it is already. And so as you can see, it's all there. It's a custom app just for you, and you can publish it to your clients using normal setup policies, for example, or you can leave it to the users that they just install it by going to the App Store within the client.
Here we go. The Contacts app is there. You can see that the Unified Contacts App Pro edition is installed. And as a user, I can click on Add, and then the app is added to my navigation bar. On the left side, of course, I can click on it and pin it. And yeah. And here you already see a difference to the free edition because we have a second tab, or favorites tab. But first of all, let's do the first search, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So you search just for DI, so you got plenty of results. So you got Diego, which is fine for DI, but also Ligu. But why Ligu? Because he's a director, so we search also for the title or for the domain or for the city, whatever. And so you can easily see you have a little star on each icon. So this is the functionality that you can just mark a contact as a favorite. So therefore then, if it's checked, you will see these are just favorites. If you then switch to the favorites tab, they are just in there, and you can unselect them in here if you like, but just keep them in there. So favorites tab does not have an explicit search bar anymore because you know what your favorites are. So if you go back to the search bar, we can also easily see where we did find the contact. So we do have little icons on the right-hand pane in the top. So this is found in Outlook. So and then we found someone in SharePoint. Unfortunately, we didn't find any in Azure AD, but that's fine for now for our test environment. So maybe if you search for Alex, you should find him also in Azure AD. So therefore, you have an indication where you find the contacts.
Then we also have the option to switch between the view itself. So currently we have the detailed view, it's enabled by default, and we can switch to the compact view. Then we get less information for each contact. And the advantage here is that we have a compact view, therefore we have more objects on the result page. It's very good for mobile users. Of course, we have the same functionality. So when I click on the handset, for example, I can select which number I would like to dial.
So what happens on the 3 dots? If you click on there,
we get the full information, the detailed information. If necessary, we get all information from there.
Yeah, and even there we do have the copy button, so we can easily copy information from the contact and take them to another application if we want to.
Perfect. Did we miss something?
Maybe the outlook, what's coming next. So we do have some ideas or what we want to get in. So, but do you want to share one?
I want to give me a hint. Yeah, give me a hint. What is the next step for Unified Contacts?
So
Pro Edition.
Pro Edition, of course. So we want to sort the results.
Okay.
So that we have really a sorting in there. So and also on the roadmap, as we mentioned earlier, can be that we have some other APIs we get active for a direct search. So these are just some minor things also on the contact card itself to make more progress on that one is also planned right now.
One thing we didn't mention so far, do we support multi-language?
Of course, we do.
Of course we support multi-language. So it doesn't matter if you are an international company, no problem. The app itself get the information from Microsoft Teams, which display language is used, and then the app is displayed in the correct language too. Yeah. So far so good. Thanks a lot for watching our video. Hope you have interest in our Unified Contacts Pro Edition. If you have any questions, just send us an email, give us feedback. Here's the link to the website. Contact us, and we are happy to share some knowledge, some information with you. No problem. Also, take a look into our YouTube channel. You will find there more videos about Unified Contacts. That's it.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.